welcome to the afternoon session, BEA 2014. We are here with Tabitha and Hannah Dabbs, and they have 3 series out right now, the Talented Saga, Blind Barriers, and Nightmares Trilogy. Talented Saga focuses on dystopian paranormal romance. Blind Barriers is a mystery thriller. Nightmare Trilogy is Greek mythology. So before we dive into the genres and how that got started, tell us how you met.
We met in law school. We kind of just became friends very quickly. It clicked pretty fast. And we had class together, we studied together, and, just kind of did most things together, and ended up, we were both interested sort of in writing. And
yeah, after law school, we moved to DC together for our lawyer jobs, and, kind of decided we didn't really want to be lawyers anymore, and started writing and getting into this stuff.
Were there creative writing classes taken in college that you met, or was it a college dorm room finding, or how did you discover that you both had interest in writing? And, I know you didn't decide in college, but there was definitely something that generated the idea early on.
Well, actually, we were studying for property.
I think it was our
It was a property
exam.
final exam, first year of law school, and because we couldn't really remember, the rules against perpetuity and weird stuff like that.
College studying.
So I made up a story, and it just kind of went from there about these 2 little girls that live in this pink house, and I don't know, so we kind of then started joking about how we both have always always liked writing, and I don't know, it kind of just went from there.
Yeah, we turned all of our law school studying pretty much into stories, because that was the best way to remember them, people who got into legal trouble, and they became more creative and less legal.
So there's the organic roots. Okay.
Definitely less legal.
But yeah, I have written since I was a child. I've always enjoyed it, and I remember in elementary school I was a huge R.L. Stine fan, and I think it was 3rd or 4th grade, I turned in a story that was basically about a sister killing a sister and all of this, macabre situation.
Pleasant reading.
Yeah, it was very pleasant, especially for a 4th grader to have written. I've always written, but undergrad, I got a business degree, and then I ended up going to law school. But, it worked out because we met in law school.
Yeah,
so.
very cool. Could never hurt to have a law degree. Okay.
No, it doesn't.
So you guys graduate law school, done with college. Now you're out in the real world. You have jobs, right? Mm-hmm. Now the ideas start going. How does that start?
Well, our first series, The Talented Saga, actually started while I was studying for the bar. I went home to my parents' house in Maryland, and it just wasn't going well. So I started thinking how much cooler it would be if I could read the people's minds around me. Then I just could stop studying. So somehow from there, we got into mind-reading superheroes. And I think I had a lot of pent-up aggression, studying for the bar all the time because I'm wanting to fight things. So I, somehow through all of that, I had a mind-reading assassin story.
And are you coming up with the idea and then, Hannah piggybacks off it or vice versa? Is there a certain level of collaboration that goes on? Is it, maybe one person writing, the other one picks up where you left off? Walk us through kind of the process and how these series get generated.
There's a lot of discussion that happens with any of these books. Even from the very beginning, when honestly I was just going to kind of do the marketing and the editing for, the Talented book, because she had written it. But we spent so much time discussing the story and changing the story and working out the kind of kinks and things that it really turned into more of a collaboration. Now we kind of do it a little differently.
Yeah. In the beginning with that first book, I wrote it, and then Hannah came in and completely was like, well, what about if we do this here and this here?
I'm a very curious person.
She is. She's extremely curious.
Dare I ask, does it spark any fights or mainly get along?
She is so good at taking feedback. So when I tell her that something is implausible or I'm like, exactly how would that work out? She takes it so beautifully. It's really wonderful. And sometimes, you know, when I'm working on something she's written and I hand it back and it is, I mean, pretty much covered in red ink and, you know, need to change all of these things. I mean, she is literally the most graceful person I've ever seen taking that sort of, you know, it's constructive criticism,
Right.
but it's changing something that feels very personal to you when you're writing.
Yeah.
So.
Need that in any job. I'd say it's very hard to launch 3 series if you were fighting. I'm guessing there's a certain level of respect for feedback. So
Exactly.
Yes.
We both take it, I think, pretty well.
great.
But now we do more collaboration up front before we ever start
Sure.
writing.
Like brainstorming.
Yeah, we do.
Absolutely.
I mean, pretty much any downtime is spent brainstorming, whether we want it to end up that way or not. You know, I mean, on the whole car
Right.
ride up here, it's like we start talking about one thing, and then Hannah's like, "Wait, but wouldn't it be cool if we wrote this series about this?" I'm like, "Because we don't have 3 already planned." Like, so yeah, we do a lot more collaboration up front, a lot more outlining
Sure.
up front now.
Now, you mentioned collaboration in your downtime. I wanted to have some fun with the audience, mix it up a little bit. Downtime. Is there anything that basically, what's your favorite activity? You guys are from DC, right? So is there a favorite activity in DC or a favorite activity you like doing in New York that you can't do in DC? And there's got to be something other than collaboration doing downtime, right?
I mean,
Or is it just all work?
I
It
was
could
gonna
be. There's
say,
nothing wrong with that.
because
Right now.
we love this so much. We consider this sort of like our fun time. I
Sure.
mean, she still works a legal job. I do this full time, but she works at the patent office. And so, yeah, when she comes home and it's like, oh, well, you know, let's hang out, we always end up, you know, coming up with stories or really getting further in depth in the ideas that we already have and working through issues. So, I mean, it's our fun time. I mean, we might
Right.
have a glass of wine or two while
Yeah,
we're
well.
doing it.
I will say we do spend our downtime, if you want to call it that, watching bad horror movies. That's probably
horror
what our
movies, okay.
yeah.
By
Favorite
far.
bad horror movie?
The Nun.
I was going to say I'd go with The Nun.
What was that? Say that one again.
The Nun.
The Nun. Okay. I've never seen that one, but
Most people haven't. We found it on
Right.
Netflix.
Okay, so I have some Netflix to do when I get home.
You should. That movie is fantastic for like a D-list horror movie.
Perfect. Everyone, The Nun. Catch that on Netflix. All right, last fun question. Favorite food?
I like sweets. I'd say ice cream probably, or
Work while you eat?
cupcakes maybe.
Food? Brain candy?
We definitely work and eat.
Yeah, we order in.
Yeah.
There's a website in DC, I'm sure there's one here, where you can get all the menus of all the places that deliver. So we don't cook
No,
at all.
no.
Sure.
We order
Neither do
out.
I.
No need to. Somebody else can do it.
Absolutely. So you guys have 3 series out. Do you have anything up and coming? Anything going out into the market soon you want to talk about?
We have right now we're working on the blind barriers, and those will be coming out, you know, soonest. It's a mystery series, but it is a serial series, so it comes out in short installments
Sure.
more quickly to market, and then we do paperbacks of 3.
Okay.
So, and then our project for next year, I mean, you can.
Okay. Well, our big project for next year is a time travel series, which we have spent, I don't even know at this point, countless hours mapping out the world and all sorts of things, and we're very excited to start writing it.
I
But
was going to say we're almost more excited to start writing it that we just kind of want to wait on the rest of the series
Sure.
and skip ahead. I love the Godfather movies. Absolutely adore Godfather, Goodfellas, and those movies. So it kind of, started thinking if there in the future was like the mafia handled time travel back to certain places, like, you know, how would that play out and what would happen? So that's kind of what it's based on.
Yeah.
Okay, there's an idea there. Copyright that right now.
Yeah, it's already copywritten, so.
Okay, so what else is going on? Well, we could focus on the genres a little bit. I mean, there's three pretty different ones that you guys speak about, and is there a favorite? Is there one that kind of hits home, or any type of life, history or situations that sparked any of the genres, or the ideas, or their characters within the novels?
Oh, I think I am usually drawn more towards the paranormal ones,
Paranormal.
which is strange, of course, because we've both worked in criminal law. So, of course, when we start writing, everybody's like, oh, did you write like a legal thriller? I'm like, oh, not exactly.
Everybody thinks we're going to be the next, like, John Grisham, who write those, but no, we don't. I mean, I enjoy writing more of the mystery type things, the thrillers with the twists and all of those sort of things. So some of her books, we work those into, I say her books, but they're more, her basic idea. We work those into, and then she works more of her aspects into my ideas. So I think it really just kind of balances well.
Very cool.
I think the genres, it's not like we choose a genre and then, the book, we just
Right.
come up with the idea
That's great.
and then kind of figure out what genre it'll be in.
Just let it flow.
Exactly.
Now, you guys are self-published,
Yes.
staying that way. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Speak a little bit about that and why you wish to remain in the self-published space.
We made the decision originally. When I wrote Talented initially, we were kind of like had thought about trying to go query agents and do stuff like that, but I don't know.
She's impatient.
Well,
basically, is
no,
what
that's part of it. Part of it is the
is a
impatience.
part.
But it was kind of something we were like, well, we could really just try to do this ourselves. Self-publishing had just become a huge thing.
Yep.
We had both just gotten Nooks, so we were reading a lot of these self-published books, and Hannah has taken some marketing classes and stuff, and of course, it was nothing like what we thought it was going to be, but
Right.
we were like, we could give this a try. My father was great at Photoshop, so.
I mean, we've
thought-
pretty much picked things up as we go along.
That's
and
great, yeah, self-starter.
There's quite a learning curve because we sort of figured out how to do everything ourselves. I mean, from the writing, the editing, the proofing, formatting, covers. We started doing all of these things ourselves and then figured out what is the most advantageous to go ahead and hire somebody to do for us.
Right.
So, like, what's the best use of our time versus their expertise?
Sure.
And I think we've struck a pretty decent balance.
Yeah, at this point, and now that we have gotten so much of it down, and a lot of my friends who are traditionally published have to do so much of their own marketing and stuff like that, that we kind of just figured, if we're going to have to put in the time and the work anyway, like,
Right.
We might as well
Do the
keep
whole
all our
thing.
sales.
Sure.
So,
Now, you've gotten a lot of it out into the market. Is it intrinsically rewarding? Is it a sigh of relief? Is it exciting, stressful? I mean, talk about when you first get those books on the shelves or on the
the
internet.
first, I will not forget, the first time that when we published Talented online that first day, it was the most amazing feeling ever. I mean, the
It
only
rivaled passing the
yeah,
bar.
there's nothing like it. And in the beginning, because we're so clueless, every single sale we made, we got excited. And we're like, oh, yay, we sold one book today. That's so amazing. And it still is very extremely rewarding to just see directly, all this hard work paying off.
Exactly.
A lot of the stuff that we did find really exciting in the beginning, like, oh, we get to design our own covers. We thought that was super cool in the beginning. Now we're like, oh, you do
Yeah,
it, you do
tedious.
it.
Sure.
We leave it to the people who are good at it. So.
But yeah, it's extremely rewarding.
You said you have a creative parent, did you say?
My mother's an artist.
Yeah.
Okay. It's good to have a
And-
creative person in your back pocket.
Well, exactly. We actually had my mother, who will be watching this. She did our first cover. She's an artist, and she just did a quick painting.
Sure.
And we stuck the title on it. But unfortunately, as beautiful as it was, and it was, we just found that, you know, it didn't really call to our audience, to our demographic. So we probably went through Untalented like 4 different covers, but the one that we have now, I mean, we love, and I don't, you know, see changing that. But yeah, I mean, it's been just a lot of hard work, but the results and the payoff have been so worth it.
Yeah, and it definitely shows. And where can we find these series? Websites, bookstores?
All of the books we currently have out are available on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, iTunes, and then Kobo and other other readers. But those are the big
Basically,
ones.
All of the e-distributors have copies of them, and then Baker and Taylor carries them, you know, for other people to pick up as a distributor. And then we do sell autographed copies from our website because we like to try to keep that real, you know, closeness with the fans and the readers.
You in the autographing area this year?
We actually have a booth here, and we did an in-booth signing this morning.
Oh, great.
And we brought, you know, what we thought was enough books for 3 days, being, you know, we're decently known in the indie market, but in this huge arena, not here. And we did a signing this morning, and we are actually out of books.
Perfect.
So it would be if we didn't have 2 more days. So, but yeah, I mean, it's been very exciting to be here this year.
Definitely.
Now you guys also have a website, right? Is that www.sophiedavis.com?
SophieDavisBooks.com.
SophieDavisBooks.com.
Yep.
So that's www.sophiedavisbooks.com. They can find all of your series on there and purchase.
Yeah, there are buy links, information for sample chapters, all sorts of stuff like that.
And you guys are booth number 3034 on the show floor?
That's correct. Yep.
So swing by. They're almost out of books, so we got to get them all hot.
We have a few left. So.
Few left.
Lots
So
of
rush over
bookmarks.
to the booth after this is done. Ladies, it was a pleasure.
Thank
you
you.
very much. Hope to see you at BEA 2015. Maybe we'll see a new genre of books next year, but it's exciting to
Hopefully.
have you, and welcome to BEA.
Thank you.